Hello. So we are today here in New York, in Manhattan, and something just flew over us at low level at extreme speed. We're joined to the East USA server, so who knows what we're going to see in terms of multiplayer aircraft in the area. We're in the Bell 407. I have got the assistant switched on, if you're wondering. So if you're wondering why I seem to be such an expert at flying it, that will be why. Otherwise, I wouldn't have a hope, because I don't have proper cyclic or collective or rudder controls, so there's no way I would be able to control this with the normal control configuration. Or, with the assistant switched off, I should say. Someone's just taken off straight through us. So we're going to take off, and we'll go to one side of the takeoff pads. Very gently have a look around. So you can see someone else has just... Did they just spawn there or land there or what? Someone else has just arrived in exactly the same area. Same arrow, same helicopter. There's people spawning all the time. So it's going to be interesting. It's a shame the rotors don't go around, isn't it? Okay, so we'll forget all about those guys spawning in, and we'll go for a fly first of all along the East River, then across the city in Manhattan, and then we'll come back, or we'll go back further north through Central Park, go and have an investigate in the city around the Empire State Building. Really just we're being nosy and having a look at New York from a helicopter, so we'll scoot forwards in the cockpit so we get as unrestricted view as possible. Let's just do that again, just to make sure that we are pointing forwards. I've put the weather on Broken Cloud because the weather's pretty horrendous in New York today. In fact, let's stay inside and we can move the camera around with the mouse, which will be a bit more fun for people. So I have no idea which of the bridges is which in New York. It would be fun actually, wouldn't it, to, if we work our way north first and then come back down through Manhattan on the way back. That might be more fun. So I'm sure lots of people will appear in the comments telling me about the various landmarks and the places I've flown over. I don't know New York very well at all. I've got family on the west coast of the USA, but not on the east coast. So someone's just flown under the bridge at speed. So I'm afraid my only experience of New York is through movies. Okay, let's head further north up the East River. As long as we don't get too high, we should still see traffic on the roads and some of the neighbourhoods below us. Should be quite cool if we scoot across to the co-pilot side. Do a bit of sightseeing on the way. So as I said, I really don't know New York very well at all, so you'll forgive me for getting any of the building names wrong along the way. So with that in mind, we'll try not to actually name any buildings, shall we? the photogrammetry just kind of starts to fail when you get really close, doesn't it? It's a shame. It's still impressive though when you think the whole world has been covered to one, you know, to a level. Obviously some areas are better than others, but it's still impressive. It's a shame that some of the artifacts weren't tidied up on the 3D objects, but I guess you can't ask for everything. Well, you can, but you won't get it. Okay, let's head further north. We should go through the city rather than going along its edge. Out towards Central Park. So I have looked at Central Park once or twice in the past, and I know that you can't land on the green areas. They are kind of semi-transparent. The aircraft will descend through the ground level, which is a shame. But we'll at least go and investigate along the way, see some of the city. It's just huge, isn't it? The sprawl of New York around Central Park. See all the roofs of these acclaimed buildings. They don't look quite so pretty from directly above, do they? So I wonder. Whether we can land down here or if this is not real ground as well. Should we find out? I think I'm going to need to look down a bit more so I can actually see the floor below us. Are we going to go through the floor? I think we might. Let's just gently lower it down. If the grass comes up towards the helicopter, then we know there's no floor there. Yeah, I don't think so, somehow. We're getting far too low, aren't we? Yeah, there's no floor there. Okay. Gently lift ourselves back in the air and head back towards the city. Maybe we go for the building line now because it's a bit more interesting than the tree line. So if you wanted to see this from outside, we can. Whoa, the sound is stuttering badly. What is wrong with that? So obviously there's some bugs going on here. Oh, there we go. It's tidied itself up now. But it's still not perfect. I wonder if the sim's going to crash. Yeah, there's definitely something going wrong with the sound. I've had quite a few bugs with the sim today. I think a lot of it's to do with the network. I think the servers have really struggled since the release of Flight Sim Update 11. They've really, really struggled. Okay, let's come over the top. And have a look for a more interesting route through. Yeah, it seems to be a bit happier now. But I was saying that you can still see it stuttering from time to time. So coming back down towards Manhattan, we've got the Hudson on the right. So if we fly out along the Hudson towards the Statue of Liberty, go and have a look at it, and then come back in and land in Manhattan, that's probably enough sightseeing for one day before the sim completely crashes on us. It's funny, as soon as I saw the Bell 407, I thought of the Superman movie from the 1970s with the scene where it falls off the top of the building. Of course, whenever you think of that scene, I always think of Sheldon talking about Superman catching Lois Lane. And if real-world physics had been applied, then he would have sliced her into 3 equal pieces. It's stunning, isn't it? The level of detail is just absolutely insane. Well, and people are going to complain, obviously, about, you know, some of the textures aren't proper reflections or there's wobbles in them, but really, given you have the entire world to fly around, it seems like a bit nitpicky to say, oh, you know, the grass outside my house isn't the right shade of green or whatever. It's just insane. Okay, we're going to work our way out towards the Statue of Liberty. Ellis Island. Be fascinating, actually. I've never really looked at it closely in the game to see if it's got the shackles modelled on its ankles. I'm not sure if everybody's aware of the story about that, but the fact that it's up on a plinth means the general public that don't go up there can't see that the Statue of Liberty actually has shackles on its ankles, which means the whole story that it's been sold on for years about, or you know, for decades, about it being a symbol of freedom. There's kind of a slightly different slant on it originally, that it's really a symbol of the end of slavery. Okay, so let's slow down. Center the view up. Slowly around, having a good look. So yeah, I think they've kind of modelled they haven't modelled the feet. You should be able to see from certain angles the back of the feet and the shankles. It's still very, very good though, isn't it? It's amazing, really. I don't want to get too close because those 3D objects in the simulator tend to have bounding boxes around them. Oh, here comes the Spruce Goose. The Hercules, the H4 Hercules is its proper name. I'm going to get out of the way because it looks like he's on a collision course for the Statue of Liberty. I kind of don't want to see that happen, so let's... He missed it. Okay, let's get out of here. Okay, so there goes ADC-3 below us. We're going to head back towards Manhattan now and hopefully land. Go and have a look at these boats on the way back, just to give ourselves something to do. I've never actually taken a really close look at any of these fishing boats. I don't know how well modelled they are. Quite impressive, aren't they? There's all the canisters on the decks and everything. Right, let's go on our way. So, we're looking for the helipads. Can we remember where they were? Are they further round? They must be further round. I mean, there's an aircraft carrier up the side of the city, isn't there? I'm not sure how far up it is, though. Maybe we'll go have a look. Look at it another day. We're just going to come in and have a land for the moment. Have a land. Go and attempt to land. Yeah, there's the helipad. Okay, just before we do go in then, let's turn around. And see if we can find the aircraft carrier. I think it's this side. I'm not sure how far along it is. So this might be a fool's errand. But we're going to see some of the extremely expensive waterfront properties on the way along, I guess. I'm guessing that's the Coast Guard boats, but they're really horrifically rendered. sure somebody's going to end up in the comments saying I'm on the wrong side of the city to find the aircraft carrier, but there we go. There's a cruise liner further up here. I'm not sure if a floating museum is here or not. We'll find out, won't we? God, even with the assistance on, this is really making my hand ache holding the cyclic all the time. It's quite stressful. No, I think we found the aircraft carrier. Yes, we have. So, let's slow down. See how many aircraft we can identify on the deck. Unfortunately, it has some sort of... There's a Concorde, okay. So let's go and slow down over here, and then let's turn around. Force helicopters to do things isn't the best way to work, really. So there's the Concorde. Let's have a look. If we scoot over right next to the window and looking downwards, what can we recognise? So there's a couple of MiGs down there. There's a Harrier. There's a Phantom. There's an F-14. There's obviously a Blackbird. There's an Alpha Jet by the look of it, an F-16, a Mirage, a Hawkeye, okay, why am I not getting any lift from the cyclic? This assistance is sometimes actually the opposite of assistance. So let's have another look. We'll fly along the side of the aircraft carrier. So yeah, you've got a A6 Intruder there by the look of it. There's the Hawkeye, there's the Phantom. Is that a Skyhawk, I think? It's been badly mangled by the photogrammetry. There's a MiG-15 down here. There's a Tiger here, but again it's been quite badly mangled. Not sure what this is. Obviously it's been absolutely destroyed by the photogrammetry. Or has it? Can we see it from overhead? Yeah, you can see the shape of it from overhead a bit more accurately. It's got the wings folded. Oh, is it a Sky Raider or something like that maybe? Is that a, oh crikey, what was it called? The Last of the Gunfighters. I can't think of the name of it. Anyway, we found the aircraft carrier. I'll think of the name of it on the way back. Okay, so we're going to gently make our way back to Manhattan and then hopefully go and land. This has started to stutter, hasn't it? About once every 4 or 5 seconds. There it goes again. It really doesn't like us spending a lot of time in New York. It's starting to kill it. Should have a look from outside. Can you imagine showing somebody this simulator even 20 years ago and saying this is what was going to happen? They wouldn't have believed you, would they? I'm still racking my brains trying to think what that plane was called that was on the carrier deck. Vigilante, that was the name of it. I think the Vigilante was replaced by the F-14. Or maybe even been replaced by the Phantom, thinking about it. Then the Phantom obviously got replaced by the F-14 and the F-18. Now, can we land this with it stuttering? Shouldn't affect us too much. I guess the only thing that might put us off is all of the other helicopters that are going to be spawning in all the time, so we'll have to try and land over on the jetty to the right to avoid the spawning in point, because that's going to be really, really off-putting. I guess. I'm straightening my view up. It won't go down. I don't want to thump it down, but it's well. There we go. It was moving around on the cushion of air underneath the helicopter. Obviously, without pedals, it's a nightmare to try and control that accurately. But I'll call that a win. We're somewhere near the landing pad, which is good. We're not perfectly straight. Should we straighten up a little bit? Okay, we'll call that a win, shall we? Anyway, let's see how everybody else is doing with hovering and flying around. Yeah, they're having struggles. Helicopters are hard. It'd be worth sitting and watching for a while and just watching people taking off that have just spawned in. Even with the assistance on, helicopters are hard. Without the assistance, they're almost impossible if you don't have the correct controls. Okay. Yeah, they're going looks okay. Or maybe not. He's going in. That was a save. And he's locked down. Anyway, I'm going to call it a day there. That was good fun. And we got to see Flight Simulator. Okay, I'm going to leave it there and I'll see you again soon.